and welcome back to PeroCommaPodcast. Woo! Confetti, y'all. My name is Colette. Colette's Reading Corner. And then that is, oh, no, you're over here. That's Elizabeth. Bookish and Fed. Look at me.
Get it.
So this episode, we are doing kind of a book giving guide. So you may know someone in your life that loves to read, and you're like, I'm not a reader. I don't know what books are popular. I don't know how to even shop for a popular book or any book for that instance. So we have compiled some books, 5 books each that we have both read, and then 5 popular books that we haven't read in different categories. So if you can ask them, hey, what kind of books do you like? It might fit one of those categories. You know, something that you can pick for them that they may enjoy. So hopefully this does help y'all out. And we'll start with Elizabeth. Elizabeth, what is the first book that you have read that you would recommend?
I will never, ever stop recommending this book. These 2 books, because I'm going to count them as one because it is a duology and they're both amazing. Actually, the second book is more amazing. So, forever going to recommend these. And it is One Dark Window and Two Twisted Crowns by Rachel Gillig. Mm-hmm. It is a dark fantasy, and it's a lushly gothic fantasy about a maiden who must unleash the monster within to save her kingdom. But the monster in her head isn't the only threat lurking. Boom, boom, boom.
Okay. Well, my first book that I am going to recommend, that I recommended to Liz, that she absolutely enjoyed, The AI Who Loved Me, by Elizabeth.
I really did. I talked so much crap about that book. I clowned her so much.
Yes.
And it was really good, y'all.
It really was. And it's a short read. It's only 159 pages. It's a science fiction romance because it's AI who loves someone. Just saying. It's about Trinity Jordan. That's her. And Lee Wei. I'm going to be honest with you. When I read the book, I called him Lai Wai.
I listened to the audio.
When I listened to the audio, I figured his name was Lee Wei. I was like, what? Is that how you say it? Don't judge me. And she has lost her memory, and they basically just have to find their way back to each other. Super cute, super funny. I think they might enjoy that. So, The AI Who Loved Me. What about you? What's next for you, Liz? Oops.
Okay. My next book is Fourth Wing by Rebecca Yarros. It gets a lot of hype. I was not going to read this book because of the hype that it got. I was like, book talk has failed me so many times. Okay, not that many times, but more times than it has.
Right.
Anyways, so it's by Rebecca Yarros. It's a romantasy. So romance and fantasy. Okay. Enter the brutal and elite world of War College for Dragon Riders. It follows Violet, little scrawny little Violet, who decides, I'm not going to be a scribe. I was trained to be a scribe my whole life, but F everything. I'm going to walk this shit. I'm going to make it across. I'm going to get me a dragon. I'm doing this. And she does it. So.
Fantastic. I support it.
Thank you.
My next book I will recommend for all the days of my life.
Oh, God.
As long as the lemon trees
I really
grow.
have to read that.
This was my favorite book of 2023. In the book community world, we rate out of 5 stars. I gave this 6. Fantastic. This is a YA. It's a love letter to Syria, is how it's described, about the civil war that's happening in Syria, and just figuring out whether or not you want to leave your home that you've known and or if you want to fight for it. And then in the midst of all of that trauma, finding love, and then realizing some of the things that you thought were real were not real. So it's a lot.
Life.
It's great. Yeah, it's a great, great book. I would highly recommend anyone reading it. I think it was absolutely fantastic. But again, it is more so YA, but still, I think it spans all ages. I think it's a fantastic read for anyone. What's next for you, Liz?
For me, the next one is The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Penner. Colette and I both read this for a book club that we were in, and it's a literary fiction. A forgotten history, a secret network of women, a legacy of poison and revenge. Welcome to The Lost Apothecary. It follows two timelines, two separate women, one in our day and then one back in the horse and carriage days, I want to say. And just today's day finds history of this woman who helps other women and gets caught up in some shit. And then we follow the present day story and what she's going through, finding herself and all of that. It was great. It was great. I loved it. No smut or anything like that. Just straight. It was so good. So good, in my opinion. Colette, your next one?
My next book is Excuse Me While I Ugly Cry by Joya Goffney. It's also a YA. Now, when I initially saw this book, I don't know why I thought it was adults.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know. But I gave it 4.5 stars. It literally got 4.5 stars because I went into it thinking they were adults. That's my bad. It's a YA. But it's about a girl. She has a list of things. She writes lists for everything. What does she want to do when she goes to college? How she wants to buy her car? What type of things she wants to do with her life? She literally has a list for everything. Or what would I do if I broke up with someone? Like, some of the lists are just crazy. They don't make any sense. And someone finds that list and starts outing her unless she does things that are on the list that will actually change her, how she interacts with people, all of that. She tries to stay in the background. She doesn't want to be seen. So it basically forces her into actually interacting with people and not just living in her head and these ideas of lists and how life is supposed to go. So I thought it was super cute. I would recommend it. Again, this is a YA. Yeah, it is a YA. I don't know if you would want to recommend it for an adult that isn't into YA, because I am into YA, so I enjoyed it. But I would definitely recommend it for teens, 17 and younger. What's next for you,
Liz? You know, I have to include my boo, Aaron Blackwell. My next one is The Spanish Love Deception by Elena Armas, and this is a rom-com, super cute. And it's a rom-com about a young woman who agrees to a fake date, a colleague who's like her work nemesis, and brings him to her sister's wedding in Spain. So cute. They're actually competitive in their workplace, but he's ultimately super nice. She's really the competitive one. And it's just hilarious.
That kind of reminds me of
Blackwell. Huh?
That kind of reminds me of Divine Rivals. We'll continue.
Yeah, see, and that's more YA, but
yeah,
so funny, so well written. I gobbled it up. It was so good. So I will always recommend. If you want a rom-com, this would be my recommendation, along with Ali Hazelwood's books. But
seriously,
gotta slip that in there.
Yeah.
What's your next one?
My next book is House of Beating Wings by Olivia Wildenstein. Look at Liz's face. I don't care. This was 4 stars for me. This is a fantasy romance. This follows this naive ass little girl. She's naive.
Huge emphasis on naive, like to the point
She's
that you
very
want to
naive.
throat punch her at least once
Yeah.
a chapter.
I
Go
want
ahead.
you to be aware
Sorry.
of this. So if you are recommending this book for someone, let them know this girl is naive. So if that's not their thing, this is not for them. And it is a story of, how would I describe it? A story of a prophecy that was told that basically puts her on a journey for something she thinks she's supposed to get, but ends up on a different journey. And I
You're
will
just making
also
me mad.
I also have to say, the first 40% of this book is world building. The story really does not pick up until about 40-45%. So if they're not in it for the long haul, it's like a 500 page book. If they can't do that, this is not for them. But I will say, book 2, book 3, way better than book 1. It gets better
Now,
as it goes.
let me help you a little bit. What she said is 100% true. And I just want to add that 40% is well written. Like it does take the 40% of world building, but it is well written and she touches on things that we need to know. So yeah, and she's naive, but what made me say, okay, I am going to read the second book is how she ended the book and the resolve that she had at the end of the book showed so much growth that I was like, okay, I will give you another chance.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
and then it also has my book bay lore. So if she wants a book boyfriend, lore would be that. What's your next book list?
My next and final book is.
Final.
Yeah, that's my, well, for the ones
right.
I haven't read.
That's
Because
right.
these are all books that we have read.
Yeah.
And then we have, some more that we haven't read but would recommend. Anyway. The Storyteller's Death by Anne Davila Gardinal. And it is a paranormal fiction. Wow, I said that. No problems. Get it, Liz? Okay. It is a gorgeously written family saga about a Puerto Rican woman who finds herself gifted or cursed with a strange ability. What is that strange ability, y'all? When a storyteller dies, a cuentista, which those are the people, I know it's maybe not practiced as much anymore, but I grew up with it. Every family has a cuentista, a storyteller that tells stories of the family's history or your motherland's history. So once a storyteller passes away, she would see the story that was dear to their heart, like a story. And she also faces some other things. She has a neglectful mother after her dad passed away. Her mom became really neglectful. She goes through that, and her relationship with her great aunt and great grandmother, and all of that history, and her finding out family secrets and all that. It was very well written, and I just felt like it was such a beautiful story, and I will never stop recommending it.
Yeah, I got it on my Audible because Liz told me to. She gave me more detail, but I know she's trying to avoid spoilers. But after what she gave me, I said, what? So, and then my final book that I have read that I'm recommending is a memoir, Becoming, by Michelle Obama.
What is that song? Michelle Obama. Okay, sorry.
I don't know.
Don't even know. Yeah, neither. That's the only part of it. I think, yeah. Anyway.
So for me, I'm recommending that, and I'm not even a memoir person. I'm trying to get more into memoirs. As I have already explained prior to this, if you haven't seen it, this book humanized Michelle Obama for me. I feel like sometimes we definitely, as a culture, will put people on pedestals because they're in the spotlight, and we forget that they are humans too. They have feelings too. They make mistakes too. She talks about her life, how she grew up, the school she went to, how she ended up meeting Barack. She talks about how she didn't even want him to win the election. She wanted her husband to work a 9 to 5 and come home and they do things on the weekends. She wanted a normal, everyday white picket fence, 2.5 kids and a dog. That was her dream. So she even talks about in the book how she's able to actually go and make her own cup of tea. And she missed that when she was in the White House because they were like, no, we'll go ahead and make the tea for you. And she was like, girl, let me just go in this kitchen and do what I got to do. So
like ritual.
She that. Yeah. And how she had to put aside some of her dreams to help her husband acquire his dreams. And I just thought it was a really, really, really well written book. I just thought it brought so much insight into her as a person and what she's gone through. And even like I remember when Barack Obama was leaving the office and he had did his 2 consecutive terms, and they were saying 4 more years, and she was like, "I'm so sorry, y'all. I know you want me to do 4 more years, but my wife might leave me." And I thought it was. Everyone laughed, but the way she wrote the book, it was like, nah, they really talked about it. Like she was like, hey, you did your 8 years, it's time. So I just think it was a fantastic book. I would recommend anyone reading it. It definitely humanizes her. So that's my final one that I've read. And now we're going into popular books that we've heard about, that we want to read. We don't know if it's good or bad, but maybe the person in your life who is a reader might want to read these books. So, Liz, if you want to start with yours.
Okay. So I'm going to start off with Light Lark by Alex Astor. And this is a YA fantasy. So if you're into YA, I kind of lost my luster for this thanks to Colette when I was telling her about it earlier, but it's okay. No, I'm just joking.
Sorry.
It's a book talk book, so I did not know that. This is a book that I saw at a bookstore, and I was like, ooh, look, it's so pretty. This whole time, I have not been showing my books.
I realized that, but I didn't know.
So here's Light Lark. So pretty, see?
It is.
Colette. Filled with secrets, deception, romance, and twists worthy of the darkest thrillers. Sounds good to me. We'll see. Colette, do you want to go on to you?
Yeah, absolutely. So, a very popular book by a popular author, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood.
I haven't read it yet either.
Yeah. So it says a forbidden secret affair proves that all's fair in love and science. For those that may not know, she writes a lot of books with women in STEM, which I absolutely love because we all know not a lot of women are in STEM. But this is a contemporary romance. This doesn't go to what she normally writes. She usually writes a lot of humorous romance, I guess you would call it. This is more, to my understanding, deep rooted in trauma and how they figure out how to love one another that doesn't defeat themselves. So that made me want to read it even more because I was just like, that's beautiful, because a lot of people do need to go through that and figure it out, you know? All right, what's your next book, Liz?
My next book it was the 2022 Goodreads finalist, and I think it was the book of the year. Let me bring it out so I don't make sure it's correct. Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow by Gabrielle Zevin. And yes, it was the book of the year for book of the month in 2022. And it is Sam and Sadie, 2 college friends, often in love, but never lovers, become creative partners in a dazzling and intricately imagined world of video game design, where success brings them fame, joy, tragedy, duplicity, and ultimately a kind of immortality. It is a love story, but not one you have read before.
I have it too. Over there looking at me.
We have a problem. We know, y'all. We know.
Exactly. So my next 4 books, again, if you're new here, hi, my name is Colette, and I love fantasy. So my next 4 books will be in the fantasy category. I just want to give you that heads up.
Oh, and Pete, tomorrow was literary fiction. Anyways, I realized I forgot that too. I'm on a roll.
So my next book is Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett. Fantasy romance. Yeah, I have not read it, obviously. It says a curmudgeonly professor journeys to a small town in the far north in this incredible fun journey through Feylands and dark magic, the start of a heartwarming, enchanting new fantasy series. I do believe there is a duology. There is a second book that is out. Still haven't read that first book, but it sounds fantastic. I just, in case you want to get that, there you go. What's next for you, Liz?
Next for me is Lessons in Chemistry by Bonnie Garmus.
I have that.
It's a literary fiction. I don't even think this was a book of the month. I think I actually bought this probably at Target. And this one, I know that they made it into a show, and I have not watched it yet because there are so many books that I have that I bought the book because I wanted to read the book before I watched the movie or the show. Have I done it? No. For a lot of them, no.
I actually watched the show not knowing that it was a book, but I was enjoying the series. I ate that series up, and then they were like,
I heard it's good.
Yeah, and then it was like from the bestseller. I was like, wait, this is a book? So I went and got the book. Have I read it? No.
It says, meet Elizabeth Zott, a gifted research chemist, absurdly self-assured and immune to social convention. In 1960s California, whose career takes a detour when she becomes the unlikely star of a beloved TV cooking show. So yeah, that sounds great to me.
Yeah. I love the series. So the fact that I love the series, I'm scared to read the book. I can't even lie. So, my next book is, hold up, Liz is fixing this up. Okay. My next book is Immortal Dark by Tigris Girma. I'm sorry, I don't know if I'm saying your name right.
I knew you showed me that book.
Yeah.
It's all over my Amazon.
Look, it's on Amazon. I got this with the sprayed edges for $15. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
This is more of a dark fantasy. Just so you know. All fantasy is not the same. So this is more of a dark fantasy. Immortal Dark takes the best parts of vampire lore and brings the undying violent enmity to full throttle. That's what it says. It says for the people that love The Cool Prince and Ninth House. Now, I actually have The Cool Prince by Holly Black. I absolutely adore that series. I think it's fantastic. Ninth House, I read 2 chapters and I DNF'd it. So, really? I don't know where I'm going to go with this book, but it sounds fantastic. Okay. What's next for you, Elizabeth?
Funny that you ask, because it's
I struggled, but I think that was a me thing. A lot of people love that book.
Let's see. What is this about, guys? Colette DNF'd it. I'm recommending it. I just don't know. It's a paranormal fantasy, Colette. Enter a mesmerizing world of power, privilege, and dark magic among the Ivy League elite in the first book in the Alex Stern series. I'm going to read it. I'll actually finish it, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, Liz is not a DNFer like me.
No, I'm just like, it's going to sit there not read for a while until maybe I pick it up and finish it.
Ciao.
I have DNF books, though.
Yeah, like 4 in her entire life. But, it's fine. My next book is A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen.
So much hype on that book.
Yeah, this is everywhere. Mm-hmm. Barnes & Noble has a special edition as well with blue sprayed edges, gilded sprayed edges at that. So if you want to get that as a gift, I'm sure they would love it if they enjoy the book. This is about a shield maiden blessed by the gods. Let's try that again. A shield maiden blessed by the gods' battles to unite a nation under a power-hungry king, while fighting her growing desire for his fiery son in the first book, a Norse-inspired fantasy romance duology from the author of the Bridge Kingdom series. Now, I have heard of the Bridge Kingdom series. That book has so much hype. So then when I heard about this, I was like, ooh, let me read it. And it's a duology. The second book isn't out yet. So I just want to let you know, in case there are a person that cannot start a series until it's completed, this may not be for them. But if they want to read it, this is for them. What's your next book, Liz?
My next and final book is The Seventh Veil of Salome by Silvia Moreno Garcia. It is a historical fiction, and I did not know that this book was as popular as it is. I did not know that it was just released in July. I literally had to I went into Barnes & Noble, saw it, and I was like, ooh, I like the Mexican Gothic. Let me get this one. So, popular, y'all. Dark fantasy, historical fiction, not dark fantasy, historical fiction. Mm-hmm. A young woman wins the role of a lifetime in a film about a legendary heroine. But the real drama is behind the scenes in this sumptuous historical fiction.
Yeah, I've heard of it. Obviously. Yeah. My fifth and final book I have not read. Once Upon a Time.
Oh my God, I loved it. I think it was the last one I liked the most out of that trilogy.
That's the first book. Are you saying it goes downhill?
That's the first book.
Yeah, are you saying it goes downhill?
No. Oh. It goes up. I think that if I remember correctly, the third one was my favorite. I love them all.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. She also wrote the Caraval series. It's up there. I'm not gonna get it, but this is beloved by a lot of people. They have a whole fandom.
Yeah.
So this is it marks the launch of a new series from Stephanie Garber about love, curses, and the lengths that people will go to find happily ever after. I bought this series, as a matter of fact, because my book guru, Carrie, said it was fantastic. I bought this book 2 years ago. I haven't read it yet. Totally fine. But people still love this book. Liz recently read it. You read it this year, didn't you?
I read it at the end of last year, yeah.
At the end of last year. So
I think I finished it at the beginning. Mm-hmm. So good. I loved them. All three.
Look, she said she loved them. So the series is completed. If you want to go ahead and get the whole series, you can. But again, Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber. I see romance. Where can you go wrong? Apparently Jax is like the man. So if they have a thing for book boyfriends, Jax is for them. All right. Well, that concludes our video of our book gifting guide. My goodness. So for those people that read in your life, if you want to get them something and you're not sure what to buy, hopefully this helps you out. Obviously, like I said, I am a fantasy reader, so I know most of my books were fantasy, but I hope with Liz's input, we were able to cross as many barriers as possible for the people that are in your lives. But as always, you guys, we appreciate you and are so grateful that you have came here, watched. We hope that you continue to support us because we enjoy doing these videos. Please like, share, subscribe. Follow us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and we will see you next time. Bye.